Hey friends, I'm gonna do the Q&A as episode 11, even though it was supposed to be like episode 9. So I thought for this episode I was going to talk about imagination versus fakery, but I decided for this episode to not do that instead, and to basically talk about the channel in general, because by the end of this year, I'm hoping to hit 300 subs before the end of this year. So I kind of want this podcast to just reflect so far, because there's a lot to pack in with this channel, and I've kept going at it for 2 months, I guess. There was a little time off, but not much, and I've just kept going and going, tried to get as much content as I can. So this will be a kind of a talk from then till now. I also want to catch up with you guys as well, and just basically speak with you guys on this podcast, because that's what we're, as a YouTuber, and a podcaster as well now, because the podcast, this is going strong. Also, there is now, after this episode is released, which I'm sorry it's a little bit late again, but it's not. It's late in that there's not an actual time, but by next week I'll have already had episode 10 done, with the intro, the meat and potato of the podcast, and hopefully that's basically going to be what it'll be. But so this podcast, I kind of want to go into where we've gone from now. I haven't scripted it, but I have looked at the channel, so I've got a thorough notation. So the year started in February of this year. We started uploading decent content by then. I'd say February. February, March time. We started uploading decent content. The slop had ended, because January was absolutely sludgy, sloppy month. I've left the videos on because it, I want to be one of those YouTubers that leaves the poo here to fester on the channel. But it's, nowhere as good as last year. Last year was a poo year for my other channel, but a great year for this channel. And this year seems to have been, my other channel had a good start because it was a vlog channel, and it was still doing vlogs. It was still doing, there's been no breaks, there's been no, there's been nothing like that. And I will be doing a video for the other channel, because it's only fair that I do that over there. But getting back to this, I forgot to say there's a playlist with all the other episodes in, where you can listen to all the other episodes of the Beans World Show, because I think it's important that you go and listen to the Beans World Show, and it's episodes 1 to 9. I've done one every week, so yeah, So getting back to talking about this this year up to now, we're in May. Sorry, we're in May, and this month has been a freaking great month so far for the Beans World 77 channel, because, like I say, we started in February. This year started February, March with the good videos. We had the Scania walk around, which we don't really talk about. Then we had the Mercedes stuff, which half of that was good, half of that was slop, but even that was good. Then we got to starting off this podcast in April. We started the first 2 episodes of this pod, thanks to some good friends of ours. And the thing is, right, we've pissed off decent people along the way, which, you piss off decent people for several different projects, and they stop becoming decent people in the end, and they stop supporting your work. But and we did a couple of live streams as well, which has helped the channel a little bit. We got a couple of moderators, which again is pretty cool. But apart from that, it's all about what we do here at Beans World 77. It's a very, very different channel. It's picking up again. It's getting, it's picking up very, very slightly again. Not with the subs, with the watch time. But here's the thing, right? I don't know what people want still. So, the comments will dictate to me what people want. The likes will dictate to me what people want. And I understand that this podcast dominates the channel out of the other podcast, which is the Tales from the Vault series, which is still another phenomena which has died off completely. Because I'm not saying it tried and failed. And me and my imaginary friend Andy were talking the other night about the Tales from the Vaults, and we're like, oh yeah, well, it's going to be a project of its own self anyway. But, but it's difficult. Coming on here, it's difficult talking about stuff. It's difficult, but you have to at some point, and, now let's talk about May, right? We've had 4 or 5 or 6 great videos already. 6 great videos. We've had 2 car walkarounds. We had 2 car walkarounds. And we've had... Actually, one of the car walkarounds was in last month. April, I think it was. But we've had 2 car walkarounds. And we've had a live stream, which we did. And we've started off these podcasts. So now, the floor is open for you. What do you all want to see on the channel? What do you seriously want to see on the channel? Because you know, on by the last yesterday in New Brighton, we got 2 car walkarounds, and one of them was there was 3 cars in one video, and I thought, instead of doing separate videos on each car, I'll do them all in one video. So that was a there was like 3 cars in together, and we walked around every single one of them. Then there was the Sunbeam, which was just the icing on the cake yesterday. It was an absolute and I've made my friend Chris jealous. I've made him and his son jealous. I made him and his son jealous. So, yeah. So I've made quite a few people jealous, actually. But it was a nice car, that, and it was we did ask nicely. So, and yeah, I think it was the icing on the cake, really, for everybody. I just had to have that car on the channel. That's just like, yeah. So, anyways, so I feel that this podcast hasn't really had much meat to it, really, because I've just been waffling on about the channel. And I don't know about you people, but my first episode got quite a few people talking because they didn't know how to do a YouTube channel or anything like that. So I'm glad I did that as an episode. So here in this episode, I'm gonna do a little bit of a story time. I'm gonna finish on, I don't know, story time with Bean's World. But I wanted to tell the story about something, but I forgot what it was. Oh dear, I remember I had everything prepared for this podcast, and then all of a sudden it blew like nothing. Oh, that's kind of sad because I had the story prepared. Right, sorry, no, it's the story of Arnside Road, which I've not told. So, I had a building company in at the start of 2000. And the building company costed me actually, I had fivers or £100 or 200. I had £2,000, £4,000. Oh shit! And then the following, so anyway, we had this the building company at Arnside Road, and the issue was Jack didn't let us have technology in the office. We couldn't have computers in. because computers connected to the outside world. We didn't know this. We knew mobile phones did, and we knew fax machines did, but we wanted the fastest technology known to man. And so when the internet came in, oh boy, was that that was a great mystery. But we, builders' offices, we had quite a lot of stuff going on. It wasn't as big, it wasn't as noticeable as it was. So when that finished, when it happened, when it started, we were a very different company. And my imaginary friend Charles, he got married to Daphne. And him and Daphne took them ages to get married. That was another bit of drama that unfolded. But also through the office, we were getting different things. We were getting different jobs. We were getting more notoriety as the years went on. And then in 2005, I tried to sell the company, which I should have just done. But I don't know, the twins became the next best thing. I didn't become the next best. I was the last best thing. And so the office got renewed, and the twins had their little sign. It was not our office anymore. It was their art table or whatever the frick it was. And they kept messing it. And I kept ripping all their stuff up, and one day I smashed the pen pot up. In fact, that pen pot is actually here. It's well, it was in here. It's got Dad's pens in it. It's next door now. We had a fancy pen pot. We had fancy. We had a fancy book. It's in the bin. We had all these kinds of things. We had, because it was literally, that was what we had in the office. We all had a lot of fancy stuff in, like you have in an office. So 2000s rolled by, and the next thing, after 2005, 2006, 2007, all the way up to 2010, we were doing pretty good. We had lots of stuff came in, lots of work came in. We were busy every week. Like, literally every week we were busy. It wasn't like now where the odd job comes in and, at the time, we were busy every weekend. And then the 2010s rolls in, and all of a sudden, the work just dies off. Well, first of all, my days switched around. From being a Thursday and Friday, I was given a Saturday and a Sunday, which wasn't good for me at the time, because I wanted to keep the Thursday morning slot, because I was, I thought, great, I come off of college, I sleep over, I've got the next day to work at my office kind of thing. Which the 2010s was difficult for us moving forward, because we had no work, and work dried up like nothing. So we had to find work, and all of a sudden somebody goes, I've heard this amazing building company, would you like to basically, would you like to buy a castle? And you know the story of that, how that happened. And so, obviously, with the castle, what happened after that was, instead of us saying, oh no, we can't take that, we took it, not realising the difficult problems that we'd face. And in the September of that year, the work started. We had a meeting, actually, and we had to set everything up. And Christine Margaret was there. And that was a day that literally felt like it was going forever. And ever. And ever. And ever. Right? That was a day, and I felt like it was going forever. And that Saturday, was it Saturday? Friday, Saturday. Yeah, it was going forever. And it just felt like the day was just going on, and the evening just went on. And everybody just came round, and I just thought, we're never going to get a chance to get anything done. But I was going to a party that evening. That was another thing. We were partying a lot. We were partying every weekend. We weren't just partying on the Friday, Saturday. We were partying every weekend at this point. So you can imagine what that day was like. And so, oh no, we weren't partying that evening. I can't remember what happened anyway. The following day, what day was it? Sunday. Sunday evening, I get a call from Zoe, of course. So I saw Zoe as whatever, but I can't remember. I did go to a party on the Saturday because I went home for about 4 or 5 o'clock or whatever it was. So I didn't stay that night. But the following weekend, again, it was difficult because we couldn't go around we tried to get round for like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, but it ended up being 3 or 4, and it was just a nightmare. The evening would start around 6 or 7 o'clock, and then we'd be in bed for about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So you can imagine how that panned out the whole evening. The next day, we'd wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning, we'd come down, we'd have our, and it was like that, and it was just like, oh man. But before Nell died, I was, they were picking me up around about 1 or 2 in the afternoon. But then there was certain Sundays where they'd pick me up about 3 or 4 because they'd want to do something they wanted to do. So Sundays I was kind of, it was like, oh, you were dreading it. And then I'd go home on the Sunday afternoon, and I was like, right, I'm going to go out now and have some fun with my girlfriend or whatever, because I'm free to do so. After Christmas, we're jumping the gun a bit. After Christmas, I learnt to jump on buses and go to town, all the rest of it. So I then was getting a lot of confidence at the time. So I didn't, the January in Arnside Road ran pretty smooth. The February didn't. January, February, sorry, and then March didn't. Because we wanted to get the phone from upstairs. And Jack was like, oh, so we had this argument and it turned pretty sour. So we got kicked out of Arnside the week after. The week after that, really, and we thought, oh shoot, what can we do, really? And we had a meeting in the dining room at Neil's house, and we thought, well, we'll get an office here, and that's how that started. But the chapter of builders' offices hadn't really ended, because a few years ago, Dad said, oh, I'll build you an office in the garden. My anti-gig cave was this desk. And my anti-gig gave us this desk, that we didn't really want. And then we thought, well, maybe Magic Silver Room can be here. Anyway, there are things I wish that I thought, oh, yeah, I wish I could have done this, that. But, it's... I mean, this shed I've looked at probably isn't going to be the bee's knees and the cat's pajamas like the other shed was, but hey ho, you've just got to go with it. The advertisement company is still going strong. We've got the two companies registered in Liverpool, but the other company is sort of, well, the builder's yard is still registered here, but that's a load of issues that we're getting sorted this week. But I mean, Mum and Dad will get a nice chunk of cash when we sell the yard, hopefully. I'm not telling them how much it is because it's going to be worth more. It probably might be less with this house because we can't sell the yard separate. So it might be less with this house, but because there were certain elements of it, it'd probably be like 16 grand or whatever. But I'm only talking about the yard. I'm covering just the yard only. So the yard only with the workshop on it will be 16. Hold on a second. Actually, no, I'm not going to give a price because I'm selling it privately. So sorry about that. I'm not intending to give the price of the yard because that's not what I'm going to do. I'm not saying the price of the yard will be, but it'll help my folks out. And, I'll have a new yard, and a lot of people know about that because I've told a few of our customers. I've had to tell a lot of our customers first because I've said, look, I've told the customers we're moving, we're selling the old yard. They kind of know. And I've said to Mummy, I've had to tell them now because you thought we were going to do this, that and the other, and, So it's happening when it's happening. That's all I can say, really. And as to be honest with you, it's, difficult to get based with anywhere, based with the whole, this whole sort of channel thing. But yeah, and I started my business journey with before I went to Arnside Road, with just a briefcase and 2 phones. I was this journalist trying to find my feet. But I don't remember much of that. But I think nowadays the kids are going to struggle to survive with anything because they don't know any. They're trying to build up the etiquettes. They're trying to build up a following. Forget the following. Because the following will come naturally. You look at my Imaginary Friends blog page, which is got 35 fans. And they're just a small handful of people that enjoy the stories that go onto the page. And some of them will glance at the Tumblr. But that's all. And my journey has always been in life. You look at life very differently. You always look at it very differently from when you were, say, at Make It Workshop or Magul Radio or school or wherever. And it always leaves its mark, per se. I mean, I always get invited to these reunion things, but I never go. I think, what's the point? As I talk to people, if people want to talk to me, that's fine. But it's the kind, management and so on and so forth. People will talk to me outside of school and have a great laugh with me outside of school, and they'll know that I'm sort of different. Because school never really moulded me. That's something that's important to know, I guess, for people who want educating. But there you have it. And I think 100,000, I think, the people look at the numbers and it's like, the amount of subscribers I've got on this channel is double the amount of you could probably fit all of the subscribers from this channel into St. Vincent's School, no problem. But we're looking at the size of a stadium next. We're looking up to getting to 1K subscribers. But some of the videos have had about enough watch time that, about a football stadium. 1.2K, one of my videos has got. That's about more than a stadium, more than a football stadium. Well, I think it's a football stadium, 1.2K. I think that's the Echo Arena. Isn't it? It's 1.2K people, 1.2K. But it's once you get to 2.4K or 3.4K or whatever, that's 2 stadiums. Wow, that's like 2 stadiums of people that enjoy my content. And it questions me, why do people like that sort of content? There's There's a few videos on this channel that's had up to 1.2k or 2.3k views on the channel. But, you know. And that's because they've been done in the way they've been done. So, yeah.